I've had this traditional Italian stovetop oven for a couple of years and it works really well on the gas hob in the house, but I've been struggling to get it to work in the camper van on the Webasto X100 as it tends to burn the food. The stovetop oven of choice for most van lifers seems to be the significantly more expensive Omnia oven, but I suspect it would have the same problems on the glass hob, and before I consider investing in one, I wanted to solve the problem. So this gets heated up, but air can flow. Air coming out of here into here. Put the lid on, air comes out. So it's heating all around. It's really good. The plate is a really snug fit, whereas with the Omnia it seems to come out like that, so you've got an area of hot air in there. On the Webasto X100 the steel base sits on the glass, so there's no real airflow, which limits how much the internal volume is heated, and instead the heat is transferred from the steel ring to the base and the funnel of the oven. So in a sense I suspect you might as well just use a frying pan and a lid. And I do wonder whether the Omnia wouldn't have the same problem simply because there's not a significant airflow into the oven itself. At this point I'm assuming I need to solve two problems. The first is to minimise the transfer of direct heat to the aluminium, and the second one is to allow an airflow so that the top of the food is heated just like it is in a domestic oven. I figured that the simplest way to test this would be to put the oven on a stainless steel baking tray above the hot plate. The height of the tray at 12mm is totally by chance, it's just the tray that I happen to have. To keep the comparison consistent I use the steel base. I set the Webasto controller to 3, which is out of 6 for the whole of the cooking time. Because although the X100 is slow to get up to temperature, the heat's very intense once it actually gets there. And it worked. No burning, just a bit of browning. But it was slow, particularly given the pasta and the veg had been pre-cooked. So I wanted to see if I could improve on it. I decided to change two things. Firstly, the temperature of the hob, and secondly, the distance of the oven from the glass. Both really easy to do. I turned the Webasto up from 3 to 4, and by turning the tray over, the oven base would be about 6mm from the glass, which is about half. Then it was just a case of comparing them. I couldn't face another 2 days of pasta bake, so I went for 2 days of fish finger and chip wraps instead. In both cases I gave the oven 10 minutes to warm up before I put the food in. Option 2 had slightly fewer chips, but I don't think it made that much difference. I think in all the examples here they would have gone a lot faster if I hadn't kept taking the lid off to do the video. And there you have it, the first result is in. Option number 2 in 35 minutes, and they were delicious. I did take an early sample out of option 1 at 60 minutes, but they weren't quite crispy enough. So there you go, it works really well, as long as it isn't sitting on the glass hob and there's a bit of airflow. I can only assume it's coincidence that half the height takes half the time. I'm glad I used a stainless steel grill, you can see where the heat's turned it blue. Strange but true, but the oven cleans really well. I don't totally understand it, but I think it must be all the olive oil I use. Anyway, a top result, really pleased with that. I just need to work on the Webasto settings and all will be good.